Today I want to talk about my honest feelings about being in the Philippines after being here for almost 3 years. Let's talk.
Subscribe now.
So somebody asked me recently what my Philippines journey has been like being here for a few years, and I have to say it's gone through stages. So stage 1 was, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm like in an alternative universe where everybody is amazingly respectful and kind and sweet, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I thought that I was gonna wake up one morning and it was just an amazing dream. But the dream kept being the same day after day, and I just really fell in love with it here. Actually, I didn't think that I would be living here so long, or that I wouldn't have gone back to the US for so long. Actually, from my first trip here, I came and I didn't even want to leave. Is that how I feel today? I'll talk about that by the end of the video. But for me, my first impressions of the Philippines couldn't have possibly been better. My second impression of the Philippines was, it's a pandemic and I'm in a foreign country and things are a little bit scary. People were panicking about where to get food and water and just everyday basic supplies. There was lines that were forever crazy long, and when you're a foreigner and you're experiencing those things, I think it's even more scary than if you were in your own country. So I was really locked up for probably 1.5 years here, where maybe I would leave where we lived maybe once a week, maybe once every 1.5 weeks, maybe twice a week. So it's just a really different lifestyle. I was used to being outside all the time, and then I was just kind of locked up in a pandemic for a very long time. And during that time, I kind of saw how the Philippines was dealing with things, how the US was dealing with things, and very different. I think that I understood a bit of how both was dealing with things, but I understand with the Philippines that they were being conservative, making sure that they weren't overwhelming hospitals any more than they already were, and that people who often couldn't afford to go to the hospital if something did go wrong were staying out of the hospital. So I really understood the approach in the Philippines, even though we had a mask on, plus a shield on, plus a helmet. Just kidding, not a helmet. My third impression, especially as things started to open up here, is that things are really inefficient and often don't make any sense. Like for example, you would go to one place to have something done, and instead of there being one line, there would literally be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 lines, just when they could have had one line, and then the money would just kind of be split up with all of the different things. But anyhow, that's foreigner perspective. So many foreigners that I talk to here in the Philippines will just question the inefficiency and really scratch their heads. Why are things done this way? So if anybody is listening to this and their partner is a foreigner and they're a Filipina, and you're hearing people like me complain all the time, I'm sorry. However, I think it's pretty tricky when you go from a place that is very efficient, like the US. I know people in the US are gonna say, really? But really, come to the Philippines and then let's talk again if you think it's not efficient in the US. And then you go to a country like the Philippines, which really does things the hard way. It seems like there are people that are just dreaming up of ways to make things more complicated, and they are succeeding. It's just hard to get used to the differences. So lines take so long. You could go to the bank and it takes 4 hours. So big shout out to Grace and others on my team that go to the bank for me, because I would grow hair just so I could pull it out again. My fourth impression, my fourth step in my journey here in the Philippines is that things really are what they seemed at the beginning. People are truly so respectful, kind, sweet, caring. I really love Filipinos. I really love being here. But there's a shadow side, and there's some darkness, and there's some people that do some things that are shady. And so anywhere you go in life, once you really get to see the place, there's always gonna be, I think, a majority of people that are wonderful, and some people that you just kind of wanna, get out of your life. I think the stage that I'm at right now, kind of a fifth stage of my journey here in the Philippines, is that I'm really seeing that, and I already knew this, but you forget sometimes, that people in every culture look at things through different glasses. These are my American glasses, but Filipinos got their own glasses and their own way that they look at the world around them. If somebody raises their voice, or if somebody is driving like a crazy person, or so many other things, Filipinos perceive some of those things so much different than an American would, or somebody in another country would. And it's really on me at the end of the day, as the expat, as the foreigner living here in the Philippines, to put on my Filipino glasses. I'm still gonna look at things so often in an American way. However, it's really my responsibility to at least understand why people would look at the same thing and perceive it, understand it, react to it in a totally different way. Even if it makes 0 sense to me, it makes 100% sense to them, and it may well be me that's looking at things in a way that's not healthy or that's not quite accurate. So that is where I'm at right now. I gotta say, as I have a lot of times before, in spite of the things that I love, in spite of the things that drive me crazy, in spite of the inefficiency and other things that I just don't quite understand, if I had to choose between living in the Philippines or living in the US, it's absolutely no question for me. I still absolutely love living in the Philippines, and I just have so much to learn, and there's so much joy about being around Filipinos here. This is still very much my home for the foreseeable future. What about you? If you live here in the Philippines and you're a foreigner, I would love to get your thoughts. For Filipinos watching, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how foreigners act and how you think we perceive things over here as well. If you guys haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Help a bald guy out. I need your support. And as always, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and have a great day.